I'm seeing a very strong signal in the charts of Bitcoin and Dogecoin. Cryptocurrency right now is about to see the next phase happening, and all of us need to be staying as up to date as we possibly can on it. I will say in advance of some of the things I'm about to talk about that I am still continuing to hold both my Bitcoin and my Dogecoin. I'm not selling any of it. I'm not going to trade this move, and the reason why is because I'm covering those two so heavily. I do not trade them. Those are my long-term holdings. I continue to put more in from time to time, but the trading that I do of cryptocurrency is typically going to happen with the cryptocurrencies I'm not holding or talking about. I'm holding them. I'm not talking about them. So that way it kind of evens out a little bit. But what we're seeing on the chart right now is a pretty fast increase that we've seen with Bitcoin. And what I believe is going to happen next with BTC is that it will fall to between that $35,000 and $40,000 area. It is currently at around $44,000 to $45,000. And the reason why I'm predicting that is because we are starting to see a bit of a curve happening with the price of Bitcoin. I expect that curve to continue to go up, but right now it's a little bit ahead of schedule, which means it's due for a bit of a correction. And there are two things that can change this. The first one is a negative news story. The second one is a positive news story. Those two things can absolutely shift the market at any point in time. But just simply based on the technicals, I am expecting a drop with BTC. Dogecoin is in a little bit of a different boat. I do not think it is going to fall as far, but it is definitely going to see a little bit of a correction here as well, because Dogecoin following a very similar pattern as BTC. The difference is it's actually a little bit behind to what BTC and Ethereum are doing right now. So I do expect Dogecoin to continue to go up on this run especially, but right now I actually started preparing for this live when Dogecoin was at around 25 cents, already down to 23. So I wish I had gone a little bit faster with the live, because my prediction is for it to go to around 21 cents approximately before continuing that next leg up of the run. Once again, I'm not selling this. I'm going to continue to hold my Dogecoin because we do believe in it very strongly for the long term, and we know this is just a temporary correction that's then going to go and shoot right back up. It's just the way the market works. You're not going to see a bunch of green days in a row most of the time, especially if they're big. Very rare to see that. I will not sell Doge, but I will buy the dips. I think that we will see 50 cents within 3 weeks. Love your content. Paint that Musk rockets coming in from Mike Flim. I appreciate the chat, and yes, we really want to see the Dogecoin on the rocket. But with the price specifically now, I would definitely recommend, if you are trading, to be looking at that option. Again, there's no guarantees in this. That's just what I'm seeing in the chart, and so I expect it will most likely happen. Right now, we are seeing Dogecoin, the average transaction fee is 65 cents approximately. We are also seeing the value transacted in the last 24 hours at 624 million. Now, we compare that directly to Ethereum, and Dogecoin still one of the most competitive cryptocurrencies when it comes to average transaction fee, and that's only going to get significantly lower with the rollout of the next update. Because Dogecoin is smaller than Ethereum right now, and the network is a little bit easier to manage in terms of convincing people on it to actually adopt the shifting changes in the code, it's going to be easier to make these updates roll out. And we also have significantly more social media presence when it comes to the Dogecoin network. Every single person who's mining Dogecoin pretty much is going to be on social media to one degree or another. Every single person who's part of the network and is responsible for these changes. We also see a chat coming in from Allison Landpoint. I appreciate that. And yes, unfortunately, this is some negative news today, so I'm not going to be saying press like button or anything like that, because, well, we don't really want this live to get out to more people. This is just for us. This is for us to see the information. If more people see this live, then Dogecoin could potentially fall further. It just depends kind of on what people decide to do. I mean, right now we do have the largest Dogecoin audience, so we have to be to some degree careful, but at the same time, this is not a Dogecoin fan channel specifically. I love Dogecoin, we all do, and we all know it's going to likely do some big things. We all really are supporting it and pushing for it. That said, if there are some negative things in the chart, I'm still going to talk about that. If I do see a potential fall coming and it has a high chance of happening, we have to talk about it, because that's just the way it is. The video on Twitter, I think 1000x from here. Thoughts? Question mark. I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about. Do you think Twitter stock? Well, I see what you're saying. The video on Twitter. Yeah, it's definitely possible we could see some big moves there, but doggish Doge, I don't know, 1000x with Dogecoin definitely is a massive increase. I'm not saying for Doge specifically we're going to see 1000x, because that's almost impossible at this point. From the very beginning, 1000x's can happen, but at this point we don't need 1000x to see massive gains. That would just be absolutely way out of the universe in terms of what we could see. Maybe yeah, well, after we're gone, it can end up doing something along those lines. This is what the cryptocurrency market has done in the last 24 hours. We have seen Bitcoin going up 1.47%, Ethereum kind of correcting a little bit down to 3,000 from being at around 3,200. Then Dogecoin is still continuing to have a little bit of a leg up here today, 1% up. So obviously very small leg up, and it's up approximately 10% or so in the last 30 days, and 17% in the last week. So some pretty good numbers for Dogecoin. Like I said, though, we would likely see a correction before that next leg up for Doge. We're also seeing a lot of energy that's negative around Dogecoin when it comes to it being associated with criminal activity. But it is time to dispel some of those rumors when it comes to Dogecoin and criminal activity. Did you see that viral video on Daddy Doge? They went to space. They made crypto history with market cap of only 9 million. Thoughts on 100x from here? I did not see the video, and I personally am not going to be investing in that. I'm actually kind of getting sick and tired of all of these Dogecoin copycats. One, okay, that's kind of funny. Two, all right, here we go, whatever. But now it's like 30 or something like that, and it's getting a little bit old. I mean, come on, just come up with something creative and new. You don't have to continue to copy the things that are already there. In fact, that's significantly more boring because there's not going to be any new memes. There's not going to be any interesting, fun things to think about. It doesn't add anything to the crypto space at all to copy another coin to that level, and then copy another coin that's copying another coin, and then copy another coin that's copying another coin that's copying. Oh my gosh, there's so many layers. But this right here is what I think is very important for people to be seeing, because we want to dispel some of these myths around crypto that it is actually directly tied and associated with criminal activity, because for the most part it's not, and the stats actually prove that. Take a look here. Is cryptocurrency the currency of criminals? Actually, criminals use fiat currency, like the dollar and the yuan and whatever else you want us to talk about in terms of currency that's fiat. They use that significantly more than cryptocurrency when it comes to illegal activity, and specifically when it comes to the amount that is being laundered. In 2020, the criminal share of all cryptocurrency activity fell to just 0.34% when it comes to the amount that's being transacted with cryptocurrency, so a very tiny amount. And you compare that to fiat, 2% and 5% of global gross domestic product, 1.6 million to 4 trillion annually, is connected with money laundering. So 2 to 5% versus less than 1/3 of 1%, or approximately 1/3 of 1%. That is pretty dang staggering, those numbers. And as this myth starts to get dispelled more and more, we're going to see the types of people who would generally be very afraid of investing in crypto. A lot of them are on the older side, are now going to start to warm up to it and see the benefits that it has. Speaking of those benefits, well, El Salvador is proving right now that there are massive benefits to cryptocurrency, ranging from not having to worry about the fees that banks offer to having access that can reach way further than what the banks are capable of providing, because you have to have a specific location or access to a certain type of internet. Well, El Salvador will give you that access to cryptocurrency in a way that we've never seen before, and with updated wallets that are coming, there's a lot of room for people to make money as entrepreneurs in this space, and also significantly help the cryptocurrency space moving forward, because there's going to be a time when you can have a non-internet based wallet that you can then go and take to a store and make a transaction using BTC without a connection to the internet. That's a huge game changer. It's only a matter of time before that happens. Some countries will try to stop it. Speaking of trying to stop it, well, Turkey is doing that right now. They're scared of the criminal side of cryptocurrency, which, by the way, is such a small percentage. A lot of people in the government over there just don't really understand it, and some of them also have a degree of corruption that it is contributing to them making this decision. They've banned it there. China is not being very nice to it, but China has a completely different reason. It's not really the criminal activity there. It's the freedom of it. They don't like that. They want to have more control over the currency when it comes to Chinese government, which is something that we continue to talk against, because it's not the right way to be going about that. But digital assets offer respite for citizens amid low-income economy. Or offer. Oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. That's good. But they offer basically a way for the elimination of banking cost and the low transaction fees that can be associated with cryptocurrency even further when you look at altcoins beyond Bitcoin, and especially Dogecoin after these updates are going to come through, which shouldn't be Okay, is the microphone back on now? There we go. The microphone should be back on now. We should be good to go. I'm not sure how long it's been off for, but we have an absolute flood of comments coming in right now about the microphone not being on, and it should be working now, though. So we're good to go. We're good to go. Basically, and what point did it cut off at? I guess we're not entirely sure. What point did it cut off? We don't know. So I'll go back. I'll go back.
Started to come in.
Yeah, but all right. Well, yeah, I guess. I'll just go back a little bit. And basically, what we're talking about here is Gary Gensler, who is right now trying to crack down on crypto. He was quoted as saying, "Crypto is the Wild West, and we need to come in with regulation after regulation after regulation to try to stop it." But luckily, what we're finding out now, and what a lot of us already knew to some degree, but we didn't really know to what degree it was true, is that the government, specifically through the lens of Gary, cannot do much. He, as the SEC head, cannot really actually put laws in place. To some degree, he can file lawsuits against certain cryptocurrencies like XRP, for example, Ripple. They had a lawsuit against them that, in my opinion, is relatively frivolous. They didn't actually have a case there, basically labeling it as a security and going after them. But now the courts are starting to say that could potentially be an overreach by the SEC, which is going to limit the SEC's power here even more. It actually does take an act of Congress for something like that to happen. Congress, by the way, it's slow. It doesn't often do things fast. We're seeing that right now as this bill continues to be debated and what we're going to see with it. So for the first time, Congress really is looking at cryptocurrency laws and taking it to that next level, something we want them to stay away from for the most part. Really, the only place the government can actually help crypto is stopping the crime, and they're doing that more and more and more. The government's getting better at it. Bitcoin can be traced when it comes to criminal activity. When it comes to outside of that, it's pretty easy to get away with it. But when you actually have a legitimate government body that is actively trying to pursue a cryptocurrency transaction that was illegitimate or illegal, it's really not hard for them to do that. Can't hear you. Oh yeah, we got some more chats. Talk about the Get Doge rewards for holding getdoge.cash. Yeah, we're definitely going to talk more about some of the rewards that you can get from Dogecoin and the other cryptocurrencies out there. But I think now is the perfect time to be having a little bit of a bag. If you want to put it into Doge after it falls some, which is what I'm predicting, then now could be a good time before we see the next leg up. Once again, not financial advice. I'm told I'm supposed to say that. I don't know why the heck. I mean, everyone knows already. They can do whatever the heck they want. Is the sound not working again? I don't know. I feel, no, it's still working now. I see it working. But we have some comments who take a long time to come through. Hey Matt, did you hear about cheap by geo? I'm not even sure. I feel like you're trying to trick me into saying a word. I don't know what that is, but I will maybe look it up after the show. That's interesting. I've never heard of that before. No, it's not muted. Okay, some people still saying it's muted. I guess some comments just come in a long time after they're supposed to come in. That's just the way it is. By the way, what we're seeing with Coinbase stock is really interesting to watch because you can actually kind of look at Bitcoin and then look at Coinbase stock and see some direct trends that are correlated between those two. Right now, Coinbase stock at worth approximately $258, and we have seen Bitcoin going up significantly more this month. It's gone up over 20%. Ethereum going up over 40%. So some pretty big gains for those two cryptos, which are the main ones that account for close to 70% of the entire market of cryptocurrency. Maybe even be a little bit over 70% after these runs, but somewhere around that range. And yet, Coinbase stock has not even gone up that much, proving how overvalued it has been over this last little period here. Investing in stocks that are directly tied to crypto are going to be significantly slower movers, slightly more stability, but I don't think that's worth it because you miss out on a lot of the high upside there. Keep it up, buddy. The community thanks you. I appreciate that. And we're going to make sure we're always honest about it. Even though I'm holding a lot of Dogecoin in theory, it would make sense for me to only talk about positive news, right? Well, that's not the whole picture. You have to have the positives and the negatives. That's the way to go about it. And some people won't like that. And it's okay. You know, we're still going to talk about it because the majority of us just want to hear the info. We want to hear the stats and facts and kind of know where the market's going. Matt, you were like the kid. Matt Wallace equals cheat code. And Edward says, Matt Wallace, you're the kid that used to let all of the others cheat off your test. Matt Wallace equals cheat code. Just bought a house of your Doge because of your Doge info coming in from Edward Roan. That's awesome. So you bought a house from info here on the show. Pretty dang incredible. Here's my test. You can cheat directly off it. The teacher's not looking. Take a look at the answers. You can borrow them. You can use them. All I ask in return is that you subscribe with the notifications on. That's all I ask in return. I'm not trying to trick you. Just sharing LOL. I have to be skeptical of this now because, you know, like some people you will say will put those phrases out there, then you say it and they're like, oh no, they got you. I don't want to get got. Is the sound's working now because my microphone will blink if it stops working. So we should notice it pretty fast. And also with Diana here looking at the comments and helping me out, we do have the ability to see that way quicker. Do you think crypto infrastructure bill will harm markets without? Interesting. So without the amendments, will it harm the markets? I do not think there's a high chance of that. The reason why, all it does is increase the level of taxes on crypto. It's not banning it. It's not stopping it. The only thing that it will hurt if we do see the amendment and that the Second Amendment that was proposed, which actually is going to have significantly more scrutiny on cryptocurrencies with the proof of stake system, it will significantly hurt those cryptos. So if you do have proof of stake cryptos, that's where the really risk is here. But with proof of work cryptos, I don't really see any way the market gets tremendously hurt by that. And we're already noticing that now because it's going up. If the market was going to be hurt by that, it would likely be hurt ahead of time. It's kind of a little bit of the opposite type of situation. When you have negative news, well, then you can potentially look at doing the opposite of sell the rumor, buy the news. It's basically just kind of that flipped around for what you typically see. I think I said that right. Did you hear about INX token? What is your thoughts on STO market? I've not. No, I've not. I'll look into that. I'll definitely look into that. And Ashko, thank you for the chat, as well as A Heavy says, when are we going to have a nice and pay for a drink together and pay for it in Dogecoin? Maybe one day. Do you think Shiba Inu is a good investment? Thanks, Matt. To the moon, coming in from Justin. Personally, I'm a way bigger fan of Dogecoin than any of the currencies that are trying to copy Doge. That's just the way it is right now. There was a time when I put some money in. I took it out because of some people in the community, but I don't really have any personal feelings there. You can invest in whatever the heck will make you money. That's kind of what the crypto market is for. Having fun, making money if you know what you're doing. And if you're on this channel, you likely have a better idea than most people. Anyway, I'm Matt Wass. This is Final Stand, and I'll see you in the next video.